Hello, everyone. I'm back, and today I'm back with Deniz. I tend to say this S, but I see it with Z. But I hope it's not an insult to say it with S. And Deniz is a founder of a very interesting project, which I started using just recently, which is called AlphaDay, and it's like your crypto dashboard for everything. Calendar with informations, widgets. Well, he will tell us all about it, but I just found it pretty cool. And I was surprised I didn't bump into it earlier. So Deniz, welcome.
Thank you so much. And yes, you can call me Deniz. You can call me Deniz as well. It's like an international name. There's a few different options there. And thank you for having me on the show. I think we met a few months ago in Istanbul and at a very nice, interesting location. Had great food and had great chat about crypto, about global markets. So it's great to have the second opportunity to talk to you again.
True. We met in Dev Connect in Istanbul, and luckily we bumped into each other on the Crypto Nomads dinner, which was great. I still remember how full I was when I was leaving that place. So yeah,
a lot of different
too much
things,
food.
a mixture of mezes, like 10 different things. But yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah. So look, let's jump right into it. So I always ask my guests, how did you get to crypto? To showcase that almost everybody in crypto is actually a normal person, and that there is a journey which makes sense. So what was your journey to crypto and to AlphaDay?
Yeah. So I got into crypto in 2016, and since then it's been life-changing. But what triggered it all was, like, if you're familiar with Reddit, where it's so many different discussions happening,
Sure.
it's like a social. So there was a thread called "Explain to Me Like I'm Five," Ethereum, the smart contract, like Turing complete blockchain platform. And I had no idea about blockchains. I'd heard of Bitcoin, but ignored it. But when I came across this concept of being able to write these smart contracts and deploy them on a decentralized computer where anyone can run it anywhere around the world without asking permission, with no centralized party, that just blew my mind. And that was like going down the rabbit hole. We'll talk about that rabbit hole. And for me, it was coming across Ethereum, finding it incredible. I came from a finance background, so I knew how the global markets worked. I knew about the inefficiencies.
Okay.
So once I came across Ethereum, and then it was going into Bitcoin, doing my master's in digital currency and learning about the philosophy of like the core technology, the value add, all the concepts around blockchain technology. And yes, I mean, I've worked in different projects. And a few years ago, I started AlphaDay, kind of based on the pain and the learnings of what I've gone through since 2016.
Okay, so it kind of begs the follow-up question. Did you start AlphaDay as a dashboard for your trading, or was there a different motive?
So the motive was being almost obsessed with crypto, in that you open your computer, you go on Twitter, you're consuming crypto information, you're learning about new projects, you start listening to podcasts, you're spending more and more hours kind of engrossed in this. And I travel around the world and I realize it's not just me. There's like thousands of us, if not millions, of crypto enthusiasts. But the space has grown so much over the last 5-10 years. The surface area is so much that it's almost impossible to keep up to date with what's happening in crypto. And that's why we made AlphaDay, to solve that problem of so much information, so many different kinds of information. We wanted to have one experience where all the information important to you is coming, and you can kind of build it into this experience that fits your own daily crypto consumption habits.
Got it. Okay, so now probably is a good time to just briefly say what AlphaDay is and what it does for you.
Yes. So in very simple terms, AlphaDay is a dashboard with hundreds of different services and data points and content and podcast and rich media that you can drag and drop and build a dashboard that has exactly what you would have in 10 different browser tabs. So some people might have like a charts open on their daily lives on a daily basis, and then have like a podcast feed open. They might have Reddit, Twitter open, CoinMarketCap, whatever it is. Instead of having it in 10 different tabs and having to jump through one and the other all the time, AlphaDay is a place where you can design. What we have is this concept of widgets where you can drag and drop your wallet widget with your portfolio. You can drag and drop news. You can drag and drop a chat link to your favorite Discord channels. And you build something that when you open it instantly, wow, this is like the information I want, and here's an easy way to consume that information.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So I hear that, I can have my wallet portfolio visible. There is a Discord integration. Is there a Telegram integration, or where else are the big chats happening? Signal, maybe?
Yeah. So Telegram is on our roadmap. So far, we've brought in Twitter, Lens, Discord, and a few other social media channels. We also have a dedicated chat box. So anyone from AlphaDay, like anyone who visits the channel can use it. But we're just constantly adding more and more. We keep getting different suggestions from the community. You mentioned Telegram. We immediately say, oh, okay, this is interesting. This can be done. And we have a huge backlog of new widgets that we're releasing in the next year.
So of particular interest to me would be, do you guys have Farcaster integration or Noster?
Farcaster, we are working on it. I think we actually even might have, or we're testing it. There is something happening because the guys asked me to go register and create subdomains for the AlphaDay like ETH account so that we can start using it and integrating it. So I think we're working on it.
Cool. Good. Honestly, I like it a lot. I hope to get Dan from Farcaster on a podcast sometime this year, but because it, so ignoring the tech, it's basically like they say sufficiently decentralized social network. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that there is a community which feels small, but it's big enough to have interesting conversation without all the smoke and mirrors of Twitter crypto bubble or NFT bubble. So that's why I like it a lot. And I am curious, to see where it goes as more people join, because it's kind of inevitable that you get the same kind of problems which X has now. Okay, that sounds great. To do a small step back, you mentioned that you were involved with some other projects before you started AlphaDay. Do you want to mention some of them? Are you still involved, or you are fully, AlphaDay guy now?
I'm fully AlphaDay, but two things. There is something else I'm doing as well. But I started at Kyber Network, which was the first kind of decentralized exchange after Ether Delta that was based on like automated market making and like this kind of new architecture, even before Uniswap. And that was released in early 2018. And at some point it was a top DEX for quite a while. And it's still around. It's spread to different blockchains. So I was there for a while. And I'm also actually a venture partner at IOSG Ventures, who've been involved in the crypto space and the Web3 and infrastructure space for many years now. We're one of the earliest investors in Polkadot and many other important and smart contract platforms.
Okay, cool. So one future episode we can dedicate to investing into Web3.
Yeah. Well, for me, that's easy. Just invest in Ethereum, personally. But, yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's my simplified thesis as well, honestly. But let's not get into financial advice. So can I ask, how big is the AlphaDay team? And probably, for people who don't know, AlphaDay is free, right?
Yes. So AlphaDay is free. I think the only thing you would pay is we actually introduced the Uniswap swap widget as in AlphaDay. So you don't even have to go to another exchange. Right from AlphaDay, you can swap your tokens just by connecting. And there we take a 0.1% fee. But we're also working on the system where if you use the platform, you get like some kind of achievement NFT, and then the trading fees aren't applied. Apart from that, we're free, and we are a team of 10 people spread all around the world working on this full time.
Cool. So because we are, we are recording this early 2024. So I think the good 2 follow-up questions are, what were the best achievements of 2023 for AlphaDay? And then the follow-up will be, okay, what's coming up in 2024?
Yeah, so we launched AlphaDay in August of 2022. So let's say it was halfway towards the end of the previous year. So last year was our first full time on the market. And for us, like the feedback we received from people that say, oh, this simplifies my life, and people that have called it the browser tab killer, and people that have said, I love it, but can you add in this and that? Like just living that experience has been amazing. But other highlights include for me showing this to big projects like Aave, like Avalanche, like Zcash, and saying, what do you guys think of AlphaDay for your own communities? And then them saying, yeah, this is amazing, and giving us grants, being involved and building kind of dashboards for 10, 15 really high quality projects. I mean, that's been another achievement. And lastly, just the team's output in terms of widgets, pushing out all those Discord and Lens widgets and so many different widgets, I think is another highlight for us in 2023.
Amazing. I didn't realize you guys were so new. I thought I'm just, behind the trend that I didn't know about you. But
No,
okay, so you are. So I'm not that late. You are early. I just pulled it up because I like the yellow. Everybody who knows me knows I like colors, so I was pleasantly surprised by the color choices. And so, what's the 2 or 3 big milestones you guys have planned for 2024?
So the biggest one is releasing a mobile app on the Android and iOS stores. And when I first built AlphaDay, I was always like thinking of this as a web, like kind of full PC experience. But I guess I'm a boomer because 50% of users use AlphaDay from mobile. And that was something we had deprioritized,
Really?
and we hadn't touched anything. It was actually a terrible experience. So now that we saw so much traffic coming from there, it was inevitable that we'd have to go and design it properly for the mobile experience. I think that's our number one kind of milestone. And then the second one is actually introducing either like an NFT system or a points or some kind of token system to not gamify it, but make it more interactive so that you are rewarded for using the platform, and it kind of helps grow the usage, kind of creates this community. And we're brainstorming different ideas. Like we're saying, since we are in the programmable money space, right? Crypto, like you have DeFi, you have NFTs, we have so many different tools. Let's use the tools and kind of try and come up with some innovative way to take advantage of that, to implement it. So that's what we're working on as well for this year.
Okay, that sounds like a couple of interesting developments. I can definitely see the mobile thing being a big deal for a lot of people. Probably also for me, because I don't know if you have it, but I have that feeling that, if I am sitting at my computer, I'm supposed to do something serious. And when I'm just walking around or laying on a couch and I take my mobile into hand, I can kind of do the same type of work, but it doesn't feel like work. So AlphaDay would fit into this perfectly. Now that you have launched the podcast widget, it would be like a double plus.
Of course. Yeah. Also, a cool idea we have for the mobile is having what we call the super feed. So let's say you have your portfolio and you have 10 different tokens in it. We will have this super feed related to the 10 tokens you hold, but imagine seeing the latest podcast for what you follow, the latest news alerts. If something has missed an audit, like a news flash, or like different contextual information from Discord, from 100 different sources of what's relevant to you in one super feed. I think that hasn't been done before, and that's going to be an amazing feature for the mobile app.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, because I think there were some attempts to like centralized communication around the project or around selected projects, so you wouldn't have to go to like 1,000 discords and gather your updates. But I haven't found any of that really working that well.
Yeah.
Probably partly because it's kind of fragmented anyway. So, if you centralize the Discord communication, you still miss the Twitter and all the other channels, and you miss the price from the OpenCOL or Blur. So you are still missing a lot of data points which you would probably want, and that basically just keeps you clicking across different tabs all the time.
What's your main source of information to stay up to date with crypto?
So I will probably shoot myself in the leg, but I will say it's Binance charts and trading graphs and Twitter.
Yeah.
So I do subscribe to MarketWatch and Bloomberg and other things. So I don't read them because of crypto. I read them because of finance and market information in general. But because there are different data points, I kind of have easy way to validate whether something which I read on Twitter and looks like an interesting information is actually true. Because if it is, it was already mentioned somewhere on Bloomberg or other places, and so it's just like confirmation that it's real. And as I mentioned before we started recording, I'm not any active trader in crypto, so for me it's more like to catch interesting projects when they start. So, I could meet interesting people, I could see interesting tech, I could try it. It's not that much about like farming for airdrops or buying and selling shitcoins. So I think my life is easier from that perspective than others.
Yeah, I think like the beauty
What's
of what
your main source of information?
a new website called AlphaDay is my main source. But I mean, joking aside, before it used to be Twitter, and I would hope that I get lucky and find the information that's important to me. It's Twitter, and then it would be Reddit, it would be private Telegram groups, it would be different things. And like, what the idea behind AlphaDay is, if you are interested in only like shitcoins, as you call them, then you can have like a shitcoin filter, let's say, and you can have like widgets that kind of highlight alpha related to what's happening in that. But then on the other hand, you don't care about that, and you want maybe more high quality information, and you want something that can be validated in Bloomberg. So we do have, let's say, Bloomberg as a news source, and you can put your Binance chart next to it and have it co-mingle. And the cool thing is you can use AI then to kind of create like alerts and say, look, when this happens and Bloomberg mentions this, while this happens on Twitter, like the frequency of some project goes high, send me an email or swap a trade on Uniswap or do XYZ kind of action. So in the future, we're integrating even more into not just receiving information, but being able to execute on that information as well. And that's like the ultimate aim for us at AlphaDay, to be like from start to finish, like the entire experience in AlphaDay.
Mm-hmm. No, it totally makes sense. Okay, I think I need to spend more time with AlphaDay. Obviously, maybe I can simplify my stuff. Nice. So, is there anything else you would like to point out about AlphaDay, or can I ask a little bit broader question around crypto or space in general?
No, go for it.
Cool. I basically, because you are so you are in a space for a long time, and because of the nature of AlphaDay, you get connected with a lot of interesting projects and infrastructure projects, as well as information, social networks, and others. What are some of the interesting and exciting projects for you, which are now in our space, in Web3 space?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much going on that's what I'm enjoying the most. That there's so many different angles of innovation. There is like the classics, like stuff happening in DeFi, stuff happening in NFTs, and not just like the basic like point one version we saw with just like JPEGs and that kind of thing, but more like modular NFTs. Like I think you guys touched it on a previous podcast episode. Like there's so much different things you can do as building blocks using these different fungible and non-fungible tokens. So there's that whole aspect happening. There's a whole everything happening in DeFi, which me personally, I was very interested in the last 3-4 years because it was amazing to be able to like take ETH, stake it, and then put it on the other platforms, all permissions without asking for permission, without having to wait for bank transfer confirmation, without needing to do any KYC checks. Like that process, even though, yes, sometimes you do pay $10, $20 transaction fee, but the overall experience for me was so incredible that I was always really excited about DeFi kind of progress. But for me, I've been through at least 2 different hype cycles since 2016. And what's always the most exciting to look forward to are the narratives that are completely new and novel that we can't foresee from now. So if you think like 3 years ago, we didn't really have that NFT mania. We had crypto kitties, but we didn't know where this place could lead us to. Before that, we had like basic decentralized exchanges, but we had no idea that we could lock money and lend and borrow from each other permissionlessly. So I'm just looking forward to that next big narrative, seeing what's going to break out, what's going to be the driver in this next kind of bull market. So looking forward to what comes next.
Yeah, so do I actually, because feeling having the feeling that you are interested observer and you're not really like dependent on it with your bags or trading skills is a great relief, and you can really enjoy just watching what's happening. So let me ask you a last question. Do you think we are in bull right now already, or not yet?
I mean, I think the bottom is behind us, right? If we think that like Ethereum, let's say, reached as low as 800 for a week, like a year ago, and now it's like 2,600. Do I think it's going to go back to even lower lows? I don't think so. I still think it's a bit early for a bull market, in that when you look at charts and you look at 4-year cycles, you look at what's happened before. If we have a bull market in the next 3 months and we peak in the next 3 months, it would diverge from those nice slopes that we keep seeing. Right? We do get every cycle diminishing returns. You're never going to get 50x every time, and it's never going to be on, I think, fixed cycles. But me personally, I think we'll have like the peak of whatever we're entering now happen end of this year or first half of next year. But like an important distinction, as you said, about not having to have bags, like I love being in this space, really not because of the Ethereum price, but because of what I get to build, the people I get to meet around the world, having these conversations about innovation around NFTs and DeFi. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy the bull market, but I'm not emotionally attached to it. Let's say like many other people who get into crypto and they only care about the price, and that's not investing your future in blockchain. If you want to invest your future in blockchain, forget about the charts and drawing lines on it. And that's just trading. That's a whole different thing. that takes like half a decade to have any advantage over the market in terms of significant, like low alpha. But blockchain, it's early enough that you get in now, you can become an expert in 6 months, 12 months. You can add value back to the space. Sorry, I'm going off in a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, that was a very thoughtful answer, actually. Thank you for that. I'm not gonna give my own prediction, but I am I'm leaning on the side that we are not in a bull market yet, and I don't think we are going back to new lows, but I think we are going lower than we are now in the next year for sure. But I also think it doesn't really matter that much. Because I see a lot of interesting projects which could use a little bit more time to get ready for the bull run, because there is a lot of smoke and fog, and a lot of noise, and it's really hard to cut through. So I would like to see the good projects and interesting projects, get a little bit better on the edge of things like usability and marketing, and being able to explain what they are doing, what problem they are solving, before the noise starts, because then it's going to be hard. It's really hard to market or sell anything, like your product, your token, whatever, if it has any value and logic next to a coin which is promising 1000x, because your promise is never that good. But it's these messages are right side by side, so it's better if you have a chance to build up your name and skills to cut through the noise before the noise really comes.
That's such a valid. Cool. I'm so happy to talk about the experience as well, because I don't know if many people don't realize, but so far last 10 years of blockchain development have been mostly about backend, about infrastructure, about being able to scale. And the front end and the UI UX has kind of suffered. We have to admit to ourselves that today's crypto experience isn't ready for the next billion people. Our parents are used to the PayPal experience, and you try and get them to set up MetaMask, manage that, and try and stay away from the scams and the links and everything. That's not the experience that's suitable for the next billion people. And if we're saying there's going to be a bull market and the next wave of adoption, we still have a long way to go to improve that experience. So I'm actually maybe there shouldn't be a bull market in the next 1 year. Stretch it out a bit more, improve the fundamental value, the kind of experience layer, just like Web 1 was all about backend and building out the infrastructure, and Web 2 companies like Facebook came and built great experiences on top of that, and they became billion-dollar companies. That's what we're going to have to go through as well in crypto, that transition from back-end progress to front-end and experience progress. And I'm sure it is going to happen, with the number of designers coming on, product managers, people from the conventional world looking into crypto, loving it and spending their time on it. That's the next kind of wave of innovation as well, I think.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I can say I'm very optimistic about it, way more than I was a year and a half ago, mostly because I'm meeting a lot of people who are, building in a space, but they're talking a lot, not about the backends and infrastructure stuff, but they're talking about the user experience. How can you make it better? How can you make it fun, for people to join, so it would be enjoyable experience, not stressful thing. To set up your 3, addresses and whatever. So yes, I totally agree. Well, you've heard it, people. Wait for it, work on it, and be careful if you are trading. You definitely go and check AlphaDay, because it might make your day easier. And I will definitely, put into show notes some comments which I gathered, and some notes which I gathered from using AlphaDay myself. Thank you, Deniz. I wish you good luck in your move to Dubai. And I hope we'll have a chance to chat sometime in the future about, what's new.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and for your listeners, we'd love your feedback from any kind of angle, anything you'd like wanted added there. We love feedback. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to talking to you in the next maybe cycle and see how much we've progressed.
Cool. Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.